Hello and welcome to HadoopExam Learning Resources. Here we are going to discuss regarding EMC Data Science Associate Level Certification, which is also known as E20-007. So in this we'll learn the what exactly being asked and the initial tutorial part of the understanding some concepts which are being asked into the exam. So let's go to the content. Will it's a tutorial session, not exactly the advertisement session. So okay, the content in this session we are going to discuss about little bit on data science versus business intelligence and what happens when you rush for the data for doing the data science. And the important part over here is the data analytics rules. So there are listed rules which we are going to discuss one by one, and the life cycle phases of the data science project. So these are the actually topics which are being asked in the exam. So some questions you will find based on this topic, at least 8 to 10 questions minimum you will find in the exam based on this topic. So let me start with this, and so you can we'll go through briefly on each part. This is very extensive and theoretical part, but let me try to make as possible as diagrammatic if it is possible. Okay, so let me start with this. So data science projects differ from most traditional business intelligence project. Okay, so there are two types of projects on the data. If you see, like business intelligence was the older projects, that is business, that is also known as BI projects, and nowadays this is the popular is the data science. So this decade's sexiest job, it is advertised like this by the many companies. So business intelligence is just to find the trending of the data, like what exactly is the trend is going on. If you see in healthcare, if the number of patients increase with the symptoms, this kind of business intelligence would be applied. Similarly in the stock market, like this is the trend analysis, like stock price goes this way. So this kind of trend analytics as well as some reports would be generated as part of the business intelligence. So like this kind of chart would be generated, what happens, what was the sales, what was the impact of this particular factor or on the data, like product selling or something. So this is exactly the business intelligence part. But what data science means, data science is actually predicting the value. Most part is predicting. So predictions, like best example, who will win in this election, like if we are talking about India, so BJP, Congress, up. So based on some input parameters, like you have seen many companies are doing this kind of analysis and they are predicting, like before election results, the news media are capable of answering like who would win this election. Correct. Similarly, the cancer patients list, if new patients come in, whether these patients would really in the critical situation or in a normal situation with the symptoms. So this kind of predictions can be done. Again, the example of data science is the recommendation engine. Correct. What recommendation engine means, like predicting something, so recommending something, like this is your friend in LinkedIn, and based on some parameter they are trying to find it out, this many person can also you might have interest based on your skill set and based on your group and circle. So this kind of recommendations would be done into the data science. Another example is the YouTube video you are watching, like this video. So in the sidebar, this is your actual video. In the sidebar you Google, so produce some videos, like it says recommend some videos. So based on this content and the same user or something, they will able to predict. So this is again data science. So there are various thousands of new requirements are keep coming for the data science, and this data science projects are like once done, it doesn't mean it finishes. Like the data science project keep coming, like recommendation engine once designed doesn't mean the project is finished. Same company wants to improve their recommendation engines. Correct. So that's why the data science projects will always going to be exist in the market, even if you have already created, because always there are chances of performance improvement. So that is the biggest difference between business intelligence and data science. Okay, so let's move to the next topic. Many data analysis projects and the data science projects are more exploratory in nature. If you see, data science projects are not small projects. these are very extensive project. I will show you in this session or next session like how extensive this process is exactly. This cannot be done by one or two resource and then project can be finished. This process is can be like based on the various factors, so it involves many things, so it's not like easy project. So you need many talented resources. Some PhD guys are involved with the data science project, so this is like uh, extensive knowledge is required. Okay, so like this is about data science, like I have just gone through this. Okay, so now what biggest mistake in the data science project? Like the biggest mistake we have found till now is like as soon as you get your data, correct, whether it is complete or not, you just start the project, and after phase 4 or phase 5, I'll discuss what are phase 4 and phase 5, you realize the data which have been collected was wrong or not enough, and you go back to the first step again. So that is the biggest mistake in the data science projects are happening. So that what company are keep learning, like they should not rush towards the getting the data and just starting the project. They have to analyze the data, they have to go in depth with the data. So that is the important point to remember regarding the they are like what happening is like when you select the wrong data, then it like you will create a different result altogether. Like if I would say this, there would be a different result would be produced if this is the wrong data. So this is about the why what happens with the wrong data. Now we also discuss the data analytical life cycle, which is actually designed after big data comes into the pictures. Like nowadays big data is very popular. Like data was previously exist, but big data term was introduced recently. So big data terms, so you can see our other sessions, like we have a lot of sessions based on the big data. So just subscribe on the YouTube with this channel, so you'll get all the sessions with the big data. So don't forget to subscribe. I just want to mention here. Okay, so we have thoroughly explained what exactly big data means, but let me tell you, like data science actually comes into the picture after this big data have come into this. Okay, so let's move ahead. Okay, so data analytics rules. Okay, so now question about in the EMC certification they asked the role based question as well. So like which person is responsible what for data science project. As I mentioned, there are various resources involved in data science project. So let's talk about first the business user. Business user, the role, different roles. Okay, so business user, someone who understands the domain area. Suppose you are working in the finance, then you must be able to understand the equity data, banking data. Like finance has also a very big domain, so there are banking data, credit card data, this customer data, the counterparty data. So a lot of things comes into the picture. If you are in healthcare, then you must be able to understand the healthcare system. If you are in telecom, then you must be able to understand the telecom data. Similarly, manufacturing industry, retail industry. So there are all the industry are nowadays continuously producing the big data, correct? So the person can consult and advise the project team in the context of the project. So this person has all the knowledge. It is not necessarily this person should have a technical knowledge, that it should have business domain knowledge, what each data means exactly. So usually a business analyst, line manager, or deep subject matter expert in the project domain fulfills these roles actually. So as I have told, like this domain expert like generally helps into the understanding the data and all this thing what exactly. So this is the business user. These are this is like very brief introduction about the each role, and the question are being asked, so you understand this thing in thoroughly. Now like project sponsors, the next role, responsible for the genesis of the project. Without this person, project sponsor, correct, these are the project sponsor who actually sponsor the your project. These are the genesis. If this guys is not there, then there is no data science projects, correct? So this has to be there. This is always with the each project, not only data science project. Provides the impetus and requirement for the projects and define the core business problems. What exactly the requirement? Like I want to predict my customer, or I want to predict my customer what it wants to buy. Like suppose previously you have bought the watch of fossils, correct? Or you have visited the fossils watches, then when next time you visit, I should be able to predict like you are interested into the watches. So I can show you the different kind of watches, like different branded watch, different brand watch or fossils watch based on your interest. So this kind of requirement can come into, like Amazon requires like this. If you're buying a book or you have visited the book on their website, then they can ask you to like not ask, like design a recommended system, like so you can show the required like the book similar to this which you visited. So this is like, these are the project sponsors. So here Amazon guy could be your Amazon book seller website would be your project sponsor. Similarly here like Flipkart who want to sell their product, that could be sponsor over here. So this kind of companies, like big companies are involved in the data science project. The best things for the software engineer generally provides the funding and gauges for the degree of value from the final outputs of the working team, correct? So this is what I have told. This person sets the priorities for the project and classify the desired outputs, correct? So all desired outputs got by tailor. Now next, the project manager. So every IT project or every software project has a project manager in general. Without project manager, I don't think so any project exists. So this main is responsible for the milestones and timely delivery of the project. So this project manager always take care of the each thing, like even you are following the agile development, whatever the development waterfall model or something, so what milestones are being achieved. So this person is the pain for the software developer, correct? As we know, like a project manager always asks for the time when it would be completed, and if it is not completed on time, they will push you. So this project manager is the guy who is the like always on the head of the developer. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, it's up to the person to person. Okay, so this is project manager, and they take care for the objectives of the project. So objective should not be mismatched. Business intelligence analyst, correct? So now again we have discussed initially like business intelligence, what this mean. So you can see here like business intelligence is still part of the data science project. Okay, so the BI guys is needed. So this BI guys is the expert who has all the data or like understanding of the domain, as well as inside the domain each and every data point, like equity data point. If in the working in the finance, should be able to understand each and every data point. What does that mean? What does the market price mean? What is the close price means? What is the market capital? That is this kind of depth knowledge it would be having. And this business intelligence guy can create the report based on the some data which we have already discussed, like some graphical report or something. So this kind of uh, business intelligence analyst generally creates dashboard and reports to have knowledge the data feeds and sources. So they have extensive knowledge of the data, and that's the about business intelligence analyst. Now next role is database administrator. So everybody knows database administrator, that is DBA. So I don't think so I need to explain more on this, but let me tell you, this is DBA is not specific to any Oracle database or MySQL database. That could be like nowadays it could be the database HBase, NoSQL database, Cassandra database, correct, MongoDB. So this kind of database are there. So because data volume is so high, so there are no SQL databases coming into the picture. So this DBA guys could be having knowledge as per the like technical solution you have. Suppose you have Oracle in your in-house, then you would have Oracle DBA. If you have HBase, then HBase DBA needed, Cassandra DBA needed, MongoDB data is needed, DBA is needed. So these are the all DBA guys which would actually maintain your data into the some of the software, underlying software. So now data engineer, like where exactly the role of the data science and data software engineers works come into the picture. So like data engineers, so these are generally should be software engineer which help to extract your data from the websites or something, some RSS feed or some public API. Okay, so let me tell you what exactly it means. Public API to fetch the data from the like Twitter, if you want to fetch the all Twitter feeds, sorry, Twitter feeds something, so that you can use public API. You can use RSS feed like to fetch the XML data from of the website. You can use the data from the vendor side like Datascope, Bloomberg or something, other vendors like who send the finance data or something, or directly you can contact to the stock exchanges to get the data, or you can use the web scraping tool which keep reading the websites continuously and scrap the data to read it and create the data accordingly. So this is extraction. Then after extraction you might immediately transform the data into some format, or you might not. First you load it into the some database because you need raw data, and then go to the transformation, and after this transformation data would be used for the next phases. So this is where the data engineer comes into the picture. So it has to for ETL process like ETL or ELT, I would say. This is extract, load and transform. That is the general purpose here. So this guy will actually have designed the software to load data, extract data kind of thing, and transfer the data. So now after that, the data science, the software engineer could be data science or anybody. So there are data science should have computer science and IT guy, the statistics guy, or some domain knowledge. This combination of all these three is this, correct? So this guy would be actually the data scientist, which have this all knowledge. So that's why this is the sexist and highly paid job, because this person should have many things, like many exposure. So generally these guys are PhD guys as well, or highly experienced guys, or some has good knowledge. So that's what. But nowadays, like demand is so high, so people like on the lesser experience also entering in this domain if they are bright or if they have knowledge. So that is about data scientist, but provides a subject matter expertise for analytical techniques, data modeling. So what exactly does data scientists do? Actually they create the data modeling. So you have learned you have heard many times data model is being, sorry, not data model, predictive models are being created. Some model is being created for the finance data, for healthcare data. So what exactly this does is they actually predict the output, what would be happen would be based on the your input data. So that's what we'll see. What there are various analytical models available, analytical techniques available to design this, and based on the requirement this everything varies. So that could have be changing, keep changing. So ensure overall analytics objectives are met, design and execute analytics method and approach it with the data available on the project. So this is data scientist role. Okay, so now let's move to the very important part again for the EMC certification perspective, data science certification perspective. So data analytical life cycle. So in this actually there are various 6 phases actually being used whenever you are, it's again depend project to project, but these are predefined based on the some research has been created. So this is the first is the discovery phase, which in general this would always be there, this phases would always be there, correct? So first phase is the discovery phase. So as name suggests, you have to discover, correct? So team learns the business domain. You have to have understanding the business domain, include relevant history such as like previously if this same project has been tried and some data has been collected, so what was the outcome of that project, why this project was failed or why this project was stopped. This kind of knowledge you have to have. Then the team assesses the resources available in the projects like technology, time, data, because technology matters a lot. So nowadays MapReduce and Hadoop framework should be supported. It's like Spark for machine learning, Madlib is the another library for machine learning. Similarly, I would say Mahout is the another machine learning library. So this kind of software should be available, and resources should have this kind of knowledge on Hadoop, MapReduce, Spark, Madlib. So this kind of various technology you should have been having understanding in your team. So this is in the discovery phase, you find it out with this kind of resources are available in your company or not. So include the framing the business problem as an analytic challenge that can be addressed in subsequent phases, formulating initial hypothesis to test and begin the learning data. So you do some hypothetical assumptions over here again. So this is part of the discovery. And then the phase 2 next is the data preparation. Now your all requirement, all resources are in place, and if you want to go further, then you what is next is the data preparation. So is the phase 2. So you have to prepare the data now, correct? How to prepare the data? First you need this data, correct? So somewhere you have to get this data, and once data is there, then you can have to put in your infrastructure. Let's assume it here, like we are talking about big data, so I would have Hadoop infrastructure in place. So these are my data node, all the data nodes, and this is my name node, or like whatever the Hadoop framework which you are using, older or new. So my data would be pushed into the HDFS, Hadoop file system, correct, or into the I would say another database, that is HBase database, correct? That is open source databases available in the NoSQL world based on the Hadoop framework, correct? Again, so this would help you to store your data. So once data is prepared, you should be able to store in the sandboxes, like, so you can create further more data out of this, or you can analyze this data. So you need to perform ETL part here, or ELT part you can say, like extraction, loading and transformation. The team also needs to familiarize itself with the data thoroughly and take steps to condition the data. So you need to understand, the very important point for the data science project is always you should have your understanding with the data. If you don't understand the data, you cannot do the data science project. That is very important point to remember. So first try to understand each and every data point, how they relate to each other, how each data points connect to another data point. So that is very important part of the data science project. So this is the data preparation. So now you have prepared your data. Now let's move to the model planning. So now you have prepared your data, you have to plan for the model, correct? So like what could be the model? My classification, my regression, sorry, regression, it could be like clustering. So these are the algorithms like which we will discuss in further sessions, like about this session or this topic. So these are the models. So like these are the algorithm which will help me to model my data. So where the team determines the methods and techniques and workflow it intends to follow. So like I want to use classification. Inside the classification, naive Bayes classifications. In the clustering, k-means clustering. In regression, there are logistic regression, linear regression. So this kind of algorithms are available to analyze. So you have to understand this algorithm in detail to before moving into the data science projects. So you must have understanding on this. So this will help you to create the model. So these are the algorithms. So the team explores the data to learn about the relationship between the variables and subqueries and select the key variable and most suitable models. So when you understand this algorithm as well as the data, then you should be able to relate like which model, which algorithm will help me to get the our required output. So this is the another phase. So now till now we have discussed about three phases, correct? Or discovery, data preparation and model planning. So the important point here is like if you are on the discovery, let's say discovery to the data preparation, I will just write in short, from data preparation to the model planning, correct? So now the point here is, it doesn't mean once you are done with the steps and you cannot come back again, because you might, if you, as soon as you understand, if you get to know like I have done some mistake, then you can again come to this first step, or you can directly come to the first step. So this is the data science project which can move further and backward in the both directions based on the requirement. So as soon as you better it do in the initial phase steps, then you the further steps would be there, would be more better and more clearer, that would help us. So this is like model planning. Then the model building after that, which actually now you have planned like which model I want to create out of this, correct? So now the actual model building would start. So the team develops the data set for the testing, training and production purposes. So like there are various phases in testing, training, data set, they're training the algorithms and testing the algorithms and the production purposes. So correct, we will discuss in next session what exactly that testing, training means here in production purposes. In this phase, the team builds and executes a model based on the work done in the model planning phase, correct? So now your data is prepared, model, which model you want to use it. So actual execution you do over here. Again, this is phase 4, correct? P4 I'll just run. So again, based on your output, you can go back and you can stay here. So based on this, so in this phase the team also consider whether existing tools will suffice for running the models, if like this actual execution of the algorithm would happen, correct. So now I would suggest, like if this is massive data, then obviously Hadoop would be used to run this algorithm, correct. If you need faster output or something, then you can consider the Spark, correct. Spark written in the Scala language. So just let me tell you, okay, so Spark, and there are mathematical library, R languages are there. So this like all can be run in, sorry, R language cannot be run on the Hadoop, but yeah, it would help. And then Python script you can run it. So there are various things, like various languages available in the market, but MapReduce was very popular, and it solves like all the huge data problems. So MapReduce you can use run even with the help of the Spark. So there are various tools available to analyze the data, correct. So now if it will need more robust environment, so what kind of environment you have in your infrastructure, like Hadoop is there, then it is the best thing, like to for the big data problem solving. For example, fast hardware and parallel processing. Obviously Hadoop framework support the parallel processing, similarly Spark supports the processing, but this needs the cluster infrastructure. Okay, so they need a massive computer systems again to solve your parallelism, like if your data is so huge. So you actually run your models, sorry, your algorithm on the data, correct. So let me say this is your algorithm, correct. Let's say some algorithm you have implemented. So you have trained this. Trained means you have teach that algorithm how to process my data based on the training data set. So I'll discuss about this in detail. So now you have tested as well your model, you have tested and expected outcome has come. Now what happens with exactly with your huge volume of the data, you will start your model building. So my data is stored in the HDFS, correct. HDFS file system. So my whole data would be pushed into this algorithm, and this algorithm will run on the MapReduce framework, that is like a Hadoop or something I would say, or Spark would be used, and then output would be come, and based on this output some reports or something would be generated. Okay, so this is actually how the model building would happen, correct. So what are the model building and what algorithms we'll discuss in next session. So now communicate the result. The important point here is like the whenever the algorithm you have executed, this algorithm if you have executed with your data, correct, like your big data. So now if you know, like output of the algorithm is again the data set into the node. So these are the files only, correct. So data into the files. So now the important point here is like you should be able to communicate this data, like just having the result into the file won't help. So you have to properly communicate this result in collaboration with the major stakeholder, determine if the result of the projects are success or a failure based on the criteria developed. The team should identify the key finding, quantify the business value, and develop the narratives. So what exactly that means, you should be able to create the graph out of this, and to show this graph you should be able to just show your stakeholders or some whatever they require output, like recommendation engine. Like if I say Hadoop book, I have searched in Amazon website, and then recommendation book, like which is coming under the sorry, right side bar, should be able to show me the HBase book or Pig book, Hive book, or Hadoop related other book something. So this kind of relevant results will come output. So this is the way you have to able to communicate your results. So if you are not able to communicate your results, whatever how good you have done your model building is has no point, correct. So you like whatever you have developed, it must be used and must be understandable by the actual stakeholder who have sponsored this project. So then operationalize, like once you have done this model building, it doesn't mean you are done with the project, correct, because this model building part is the everyday activity. So it will run every day with the new data, correct, as I have mentioned previously. So new data keep coming from the websites, and you should be operationalized. The team deliver the final reports, briefing the code and technical documentation. So this code would be executed daily on the basis of daily. The team may run the pilot project to implement the models in the production environment. So these are the various things which happened into the with the projects, with the data science projects. So this is all about the 6 phases like which we have discussed regarding data analytics lifecycle. So please remember, like 8 to 10 questions you would get out of this from the in the EMC certification for the data science. So that is good for if you have thorough understanding on this. Now that's all about like the last point I wanted to discuss is like Hadoop exam learning resources provide this many resources like Hadoop training. It's 33 modules, lifetime accessible once you subscribe it. Then administration certification for the Hadoop, then developer certification questions. Like this states is quite old, so these are the more questions you will get into the actual practice question. And then HBase question, then Amazon Web Services, cloud based solutions, like cloud is nowadays very popular solution. And then for analytics guys, there is a SaaS based solutions we provide, and for cloud data science 200 exam we provide that. And also above all, we provide the recruitment solutions to help these guys who works on the big data, Hadoop, NoSQL, data science, cloud area. So we are specialized in this area, so we provide the recruitment solution as well as consulting as well as like trainings of this. So if you are looking for the corporate training, please contact us. So thanks for watching. And at last I wanted to mention you, please do not forget to subscribe this channel, as this video is going to finish right away. I would suggest please subscribe, please subscribe, because we are keep launching the sessions based on the various technology, so you will get updated based on this. So thanks for watching and hope you liked it, and similar session we will create, so you can, if you subscribe, you will get the update. Thanks for watching.